want to get this project
Is that the mouse?
started and get some
No,
progress
I don't know what
that
is.
we can see
I took it out to put your.
something happening.
It
And
wasn't-
first of all, thank
oh,
you
yeah.
for the people that are coming. Everybody, we visited the neighborhood today, Karen and Patola and I think we went to 32 places. It's an incredible neighborhood. The people were so darn nice, so interested, and that's what we want, them to take ownership in the park, in a neighborhood park and ownership of it. And you've got, Aaron, it's a great neighborhood. You've got great neighbors and they are interested. On the work session, I don't know if you want to see, Jeff, some ideas that we already had, or do you guys want to present your ideas? This is pretty loose, it's not a normal meeting. So I don't know about your time frame.
If you want to present what you guys have, then we'll go from there.
Okay, yeah.
We have grass.
Beautiful. And lots of grass.
Lots of grass. So this is the basic, I'm gonna try to do this by the mouse, so it'll be a little jittery, but this is the, basically Morton Park. Right now, there's a slide, swing set, basketball court. So for years, the Parks Commission has been debating and discussing what could be put into there. Recently, the Parks Commission
Yep. Come on, Bob, we'll just start.
made a list of assets that they would like included and upgraded within the park. So that included this new slide structure, a new swing set. There's a border that goes around them so that you can put the engineered wood fiber.
Walked around the park, a couple of people were at the park.
Adding benches, picnic tables,
Who grew up in that area.
a shade structure, dog bag station, new refuse containers, adding water service and a fountain into the park.
Beat me up, Scott.
Am I dreaming? Doing some fence repairs and then striping, just some generic lines in the grass for kids to play soccer, football, that type of thing. Adding some shade trees, some grills, a bike rack, and then improving lighting. So what the Parks Commission and the city has done to this point is kind of priced out all of those items. And City Council has allocated $35,000 towards improvements to that park. So we're kind of at that point, that tipping point where, not speaking for you, so please correct me if I misspeak, but the Planning Commission, or Parks Commission, really wants to know what the community wants and wants to make sure before we order and proceed with these expenditures that something's not missing or not off base. Fair? So a couple other things. And I had a terrible time.
It's really hard to see that.
I know, I was thinking that too. I wonder, like the brightness of it.
Well, it's enlarging, but I don't know
Small.
if you do it for the mouse.
Can you see that?
Yes, we can see that.
So one of the things
Bring your
that
chairs.
one of the things that, like, I mean, one of the things that the Parks Commission's also working on, or in the city, is kind of coming up with some standard trash receptacles that we can start placing throughout the parks. Some powder-coated metal benches, picnic tables, that sort of thing. So when new assets are being developed, we're consistently putting maintenance-friendly items in the parks, but then also these allow for color selection. So, First Street Beach kind of has the majority of a blue theme. Fifth Avenue Beach has a red theme. Morton Park could be whatever color you choose, or it could be a combination of colors. But so on a preliminary basis, this is the style that we've looked at for standalone tables, trash receptacle surrounds. They're a little bit out of order, but this is kind of the site plan for the swing set and the slide structure. It's a double wave zip slide. So it measures 32 by 56, the full bordered area with the engineered wood fiber. So you've got fall protection for the kids. This is the type of shade structure that's consistent with the ones that we've done at Fifth Avenue Beach and at the new Rocket Park at First Street Beach. I was a little nervous about those being at the beach because of the heavy wind loads that we have, but they've held up extremely well and been very maintenance friendly. People seem to enjoy them, and they are probably 10% of the cost of building like a wood or steel structure that was more traditional like the other pavilions that we have. So this is kind of that style. The idea here was to place this in the within the park and then be able to have some picnic tables underneath it and the grills adjacent and that kind of thing. This is kind of similar to the picnic table and the trash receptacle surrounds. Kind of matches the same style. It's in the same series. And again, these are powder coated and they come in a gazillion different color options. This is the swing set. And the double wave slide. And that dollar amount is not a mistake. Those are the list prices. So that's what we've got, what we've put together so far today. I will also point out that the total of the items that were selected on the Parks Commission wish list total about just under $49,000. And I've made a few suggestions on things that could be deferred, delayed, or put into a second phase that would get us closer to, I don't know if you guys can see that, but closer to our budget line item.
Were you guys gonna try to do a match? For grants or anything?
There have not been any grants applied for this. So the $35,000 is strictly capital improvement money from the city. And this would also include a community build. To have this all installed, have the structures installed, adds another $5,000–6,000. So my thought on that was we do a community build like we did the new Rocket Park in 2014. So volunteers from the community can come for a 1-day, maybe 2-day to put it together. And then whatever the community isn't able to accomplish, if we have low numbers or whatever, then I would have the public works staff make sure that we complete it. And a lot of the stuff we could just do in-house anyway.
Any ideas? Any?
Are we using any of the old stuff? That stuff there?
The only thing that would stay would be the basketball court, essentially.
Or what do you think about the existing equipment? If we had like new swings put on it or the slide painted, what are you thinking?
I know for the swings, I mean, you could touch that up a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have more swings there, if they're still usable.
The only, if they would be usable, but we would have to put them within that border. So we would need to expand the border and the fall protection and the engineered wood fiber.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for reusing it and saving money, so.
The swing set that I showed, where is it on here?
Different file.
Yeah.
Price.
Yeah, it's about $3,600 just for the swing set.
Jeff,
the
what
double
does
swing
it, what does
set.
it take to sandblast those frames? Can you do that on site? Is it
I don't think we have the equipment to do that. We have sandblasting equipment. I'm not sure it's portable.
Do they have to be sandblasted, or could they be, would the paint be durable for a few years or whatever to?
You can't just take a spray can of Rust-Oleum like you do at home and.
No, but they make paint that you can paint over them. We've done it at the old Rocket Park. Actually, members of the Parks Commission did that on a volunteer basis several years ago. So, I mean, they can be repainted.
And they make nice, colorful, just the, whatever they call
The
them.
chains and the swings.
Chains and the swings. You could get, the color was one thing that the kids in the neighborhood said, we want it all colorful. And I thought that I would like to see happen. But you could just get new swings and put in what top of the swing like we have there.
We know from the neighborhood.
Jeff, you think no to the slide? I know, we looked, there is that little dent at the bottom. I don't know if you looked at it, Aaron, there's a little dent at the bottom, but it's, you know, a slide's a slide at the end of the day. What do you think? Did you look at it lately?
It's been a while, I mean, I drove by a little bit, but if it's reusable, I mean, we could still use it, but will it match everything? Because it is an ADA compliant.
Oh, probably not.
Well, the stuff that's there, none of it meets current standards, current safety standards. There used to be other equipment there, and as it's gotten dangerous, we've been removing it over the years.
so the slide couldn't be reused?
I didn't say that. I'm not really sure.
Because that would save us $10,000 now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could always get a slide next year, you know, whenever the budget allows.
I think it's something else that's a little bit more unique than if we had the swings. We could use the swings and the slides and then add another structure that had something a little different on it. Sean, what are you thinking? Have you been over there?
I would agree with that. The only thing about the slide is, if I'm not mistaken, is it like stainless or aluminum?
It's
right
metal,
now?
it's
So
hot.
It's like a hot
It's
mirror.
hot.
Really hot, you know, I remember, I'm probably not ever gonna be on one again, but I remember they were hot.
Can I make a suggestion? You gotta go to Fifth Avenue and do the tall one. Even it's still fun. I can attest to it, it's still fun.
And there's a lot of sand you can throw in there to go faster too.
Yep.
So I mean, if the swing sets are reusable, I'd be okay with that. Is the swing set movable, or is it like buried in concrete 4 feet deep or something like that?
I would be very hesitant to try to pull it and reset it because you'll never get it aligned properly.
It's sturdy. It's in there good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
So I would imagine if the swings are still in decent condition, I'd be okay with for sure keeping those. I wouldn't mind seeing an upgrade in the slide, but the things that I'm going to use are going to be the field and the basketball hoops. That's really what I would be most interested in for me personally. But yeah, getting a set of monkey bars or another little play structure I think that would be great. But I know that's also going to add a lot to the cost. So
A lot.
yeah, a lot. I'd be happy to help put it all together. That's stuff I can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the equipment's that there, is it grandfathered in if you kept it?
As far as ADA standards?
Yeah.
Well, nothing in there meets ADA standards, period. There's no accessible pathways. It doesn't meet any ADA standards. To meet the playground standards, none of that stuff complies. Most of our equipment doesn't. But we're not required to remove it, and we haven't had the insurance company say, start replacing that stuff and get it out of here. And I'm not an attorney, so what I'm telling you is just from my personal experience. When injuries occur, and they do occur, they occur often actually, claims get filed. The city doesn't have any liability unless there is a negligent known defect that was not addressed.
Yes.
So, you know, to me, there's just some personal and community responsibility. The new Rocket Park is a good example. That's the last playground that we replaced. And that grant was written with the promise that the old Rocket Park was going to get replaced. The old Rocket had been welded and patched and welded and patched and painted and scraped and painted and welded and patched for many, many, many years. And before I worked for the city, it was deemed to be unsafe and a hazard to the community. So a grant was written, a new park was built, shorter Rocket that meets all the current standards. And when the community found out I was gonna take it down, they wanted to lynch us. And the interim city manager at the time said, "Do not touch that thing." It's staying. So it's still there, and it's not very safe. The slides are kind of the same way. They're nostalgic. They do have a risk. You will never see a slide that you can fall 15 feet from, a new one. But people come from all over the place. I mean, I've gone on Yelp before, and that's the number one comment about the beaches is, my God, the slides are amazing. So some of that stuff, you keep it as long as you can, and some of it needs to, when they're unsafe, I think then you've got to address them. There was a small structure that was at Morton Park, and we removed that. We've talked before, the slide lost a battle with a young child in a golf club who beat it and dented it.
But it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's still okay. I mean, it's got a little water puddle at the bottom, but it's.
Yeah. And the police did catch the person, but.
So Kelly, can I intervene? I came in late, so I must apologize for that. I thought I would be on time, but I did go over to the park.
I saw you there.
I've been there more than once.
I saw you tonight.
Yes, I was there tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't see you though, but I usually find your red truck. So my concern is, are we simply trying to put this park together with the belief that people will start using it? Because I've been by there many times and people do not use it. Maybe because they don't have the right equipment. The people who are using it, I talked to on 2 different occasions, are the basketball court. And the basketball court needs to be repaid. They said we try to bounce our ball and it goes off in different directions. So I don't say anything here in terms of replacing the cement thing. That's the only thing I've heard people talk about. We need to replace the basketball court if we really want to improve what we do already right there. Secondly, the other people that come there and use the park are people that want to have fast cars. And they have these little electric cars and they race them around on the grass. I've been over there, I've watched them, it's really a lot of fun, but that's got nothing to do with all this new equipment you're talking about over here, and that's the current use. And then I met today Ms. Scott, and brought her to the meeting because she says, I'm going to the meeting, and I was way over there to take her. She'd never get here, she had to walk here, so I brought her over in my car, and she says the thing we really need is an outhouse, or a porta potty. I don't see that down here at all.
It's on there.
It's on there,
Oh.
yeah.
I skipped
Number
over it, but it's
30.
right here.
Footage on.
Okay, so maybe she'd get her porta potty. So again, my observation is, are we just going to put equipment out there hoping that people will come? Well, and before I end that, I did walk around the neighborhood to 4 different houses and ask people, have you used the park? What do you think about the park? We like the park. We like the park. It's a nice park. When I had young kids, I've been here for 25 years. My kids were young. We went over there all the time and we played and whatever else. But they're gone away and no, I don't use it now at all. Or someone else was there with a young daughter and said, I'd love to go over there with her, and we do occasionally, but we're moving away shortly. 2 other couples I talked to around there said, I don't have any opinion. Leave me alone. So I'm not sure whether we're investing in something for our own dreams, our own expectations. I don't get a strong desire from the community when I was around there that we really need this park because we will use it. I don't know. Now, there's a slogan, build it and they'll come. But are we going to invest public money to build something that they might come and use? I don't know.
I went with Kelly, we spoke with two young girls, and they were walking over there with their skateboards, which that isn't a skateboard park, there wasn't anywhere to use them, but they were coming to the park. And we interview you, they were very receptive to a park, and they wanted more things to do there, and they were probably 10 years old. And today Karen and I passed out 32 flyers and spoke with most of the people, went up to the doors. There are kids in that neighborhood, and there's quite a few little kids ranging from a couple new babies to on up. And I think that those kids, if we did put something nice there, they want it nice. And it isn't a real pleasant park right now. I mean, there's not a tree in that park. And you were sitting under the table, and we asked you, do you want us to move the table? Because the outside trees at one point in the hot sun. I mean, I think if we made it nicer,
So that's the principle, if we build it, then they'll come.
I think so. I mean, it's a risk you take, but I think that they will come in. I think that they deserve a park. It's, yeah.
And I think every neighborhood deserves a park for their kids. And my opinion is that we set out to make it look like a park and then add things as we can afford it. So I say spend the $35,000 on refurbishing what we have and then adding trees and picnic tables and benches and make it park-like.
And about the basketball, do you think we do have to, or how much does it cost to lay a new pad? If we have to do that, or Sean, have you played on it?
I don't play over there because of the condition.
Okay.
I go to over here on the north side.
Duffy.
Because of the condition of the court
Dairy.
or the park?
It's-
Well, no, the court, because that's where I play basketball. But hey, as long as it's mowed, I'll take a soccer ball over there and kick that around. And I take my drone over there, I fly, I do stuff over there.
So if I can just kind of summarize a little bit. City Council has determined and voted that park needs improvement. They have already allocated funding for that. $35,000 is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money for parks. I mean, when you look at the price of equipment and stuff. There has been debate, there's been past Parks Commissions, there's now a current Parks Commission, there's been differing opinions over the years. And what I want to do is facilitate what your recommendations are and then work within the budget to get those improvements completed. I believe the reason why you're having the meeting tonight is to seek neighborhood input to help you determine what direction and what recommendation you're going to make.
Aaron, you had mentioned something about fields before. How do you still feel about that?
When I was on the Parks Commission, we did do lines.
The MRA did.
Yeah, and I went out there and helped, and the kids loved it once we did that. And then there was talk that maybe we could use them for practices too, right? To get the kids more involved. I think when it's there, the kids will come. Me living in that neighborhood, we only have Casman. And it's just broken down equipment right now. So we do need something for the kids, the gyms in that area. Because there is kids there. I know that some kids are not using it now, but they will if there's equipment, there's stuff to be used.
And you know, when Liz and I went there, it brought a very personal feeling to us that we didn't have just sitting up here trying to make a decision. When you go and talk to those kids,
You want that park.
you want that park for them.
Yep.
And so it made it real.
Would we need to do a pad too? I mean, it's probably not worth refurbishing or painting the courts if we don't have a good pad. I don't know what do like a cement pad cost, Jeff?
Previous years, we had talked about extending it, like not make a full court, but at least have the court in good shape. I don't know if that's on there.
It's not on there.
It's not on there. We were thinking it could be salvaged, but it probably can't. If you're not playing on it, Sean, if it's not playable.
If I recall, I think there's some grass growing up in there. I've got to go
Yes,
back and look
there
at it
is.
again. So, things like that make it difficult to really play, basketball. mean, a half court would be fine. I know this is gonna take a lot of money, and I do agree with Kelly too, is, we get back to a little bit more maintained, put in the water, put in a potty, things like that people can use. I think that as you add equipment, that's gonna give kids a reason to come. 'Cause right, I mean, it's a swing set and a slide. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
But if you have soccer fields and a soccer field, and what other field can you do with that? Softball?
Flag football.
Well, you have to keep in mind that you can stripe it, but I don't think it's a good location for any organized events because there's absolutely no parking there.
But didn't we talk about that? Isn't there an area there that would be a parking lot?
That would be another phase. There was, one of the drawings did have.
So the last big effort by the Parks Commission, and back then we had if you recall, we had a $30,000 pledge from Morton Salt that then the Parks Commission was going to use to leverage additional grant funding, maybe capital improvement funding from the city. But I had laid out a parking lot here off the east end of 3rd Street that could hold maybe a dozen cars or so. Quite frankly, this is city right away here, but you actually could build a parking lot up in the center of this. Because the property is owned by Morton Salt, and it's leased to the city for $1 a year with like a 99-year lease or something like that. But at that time, there was discussion about increasing or improving the basketball court. There was talk of 2 large play structures, but I think those were like 20 grand a piece, something like that. And then there was talk about a large portion of it being a dog run and extending fence down so that could be kind of separated from the rest of the park use, and then striping some lines out. When I was a kid, it was the clothesline and the edge of the house was the touchdown. We just use physical features. I think what Aaron's referring to is you put some white lines out there, and now it feels like you're on a football field, and it doesn't have to be perfect and doesn't have to be numbered, but you play, But we would have to improve parking. I guess the best example of that is Mac Park, where all the T-ball games are played. It's a great facility, nice little playground, and it's really located at the edge of the city limits. So it really serves a very small neighborhood up there. But when the T-ball plays, there's grandparents and parents, and there's cars up and down for a block in every direction.
Well, sandlot baseball and whatever was always a lot of fun in my generation, but it doesn't happen much now. And what seems to be happening is kids have electronic cars and they play with them. So what would happen if we refocus the idea and we'll make a special park for the whole city, which is made up of electronic cars. You can come and you play your cars around there. It could be a round track, it could be up and down. It could be all kinds of exciting things for them to do, because that seems to be the thing they're doing. And they're actually doing it right there in the park right now. You say, hey, we'll make this a really super park for you. A speedway for little cars.
Well, there's a lot of adults that are into that stuff too,
Oh.
and not just kids.
Can I say something? I think we're missing a part of the neighborhood there. I know we're building parks, and what we think of parks of usually is with kids. But we do have adults and seniors in the area. I think we need to start thinking about things that would bring them to that area also. One of my ideas was a walking track or a path that also puts eyes on the park at all times. Well, not all times, but as long as somebody's walking, there's somebody there.
Were you on the Parks Commission when we tried to do that at First Street Beach, a fitness trail? I applied for grants, I couldn't get funding for it.
No?
Yeah.
The thing is, though, Casman has a track like that can be utilized.
Okay, there you go.
And this is, I've had people ask me, what does the Parks Commission do? Well, this is it. I mean, do you want to improve a neighborhood park, or do you want to make it a destination with something unique and something different that isn't offered elsewhere? Or is it a combination? I mean, your input on these type of things is very invaluable to me. I like to build it and get it funded and complete the project, but the planning and stuff, I think that's where your expertise comes in.
You want to hear a real crazy idea I had?
I've heard a lot of them.
I got another one. I was thinking about a splash pad. And what I thought about a splash pad is Martin Salt's little jingle is when it rains, it pours. Is there any way we could go to Martin Salt and see if they would support something along those lines?
I have gone this year to Morton Salt and asked if they would consider renewing their previous offer, but because the company has sold in the past, I don't know, year and a half, they weren't willing to commit to anything.
Last time you talked to them?
It was early this summer, late spring, early summer.
A splash pad would also be able to be utilized with people in a wheelchair. The kids, the babies that can't go swimming in the big lake because it's a little too daunting to them, they would find that a little more fun, I think, because it's not as scary. And that would be, in my mind, a great area to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Kids would love that.
Absolutely.
That would make it a destination.
Yeah.
Well, not only destination, but neighborhood too.
Yeah, and those kids are away from the beach, if there's any,
We had talked about that in the past, but it was the cost.
it's the cost.
Cost is always something that can be.
One thing, but with the water and maintenance was kind of, we had to find that in the budget.
So is there any water on site now?
Not within the park. So we would simply run a water service from the street out into the park, and then we would have water access.
Okay, my next question would be, how about this railroad behind here? Is that part of the railroad that may be redirected? Or is that gonna stay as is?
Well, that would not be part of the relocated area. That is the actual, I don't have it on this image, but the roundhouse is located there. And if you look at all the switch and storage tracks,
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
yeah, that wouldn't move. That's their home base.
Got it.
But I've suggested in the past that, you know, it seems like we ought to be able to find a partnership with Morton and Genesee and Wyoming Railroad and have some themed features in there.
Would you mind, Jeff, if a couple of us went to Morton's and tried again? People are getting money, maybe they got a windfall or something, who knows? I mean, it's a shot in the dark, it wouldn't hurt, and, you know, sometimes people say no, and then the next thing, they say yes. But I think go ahead and plan not on that, but go and ask for money, but then get back to what we can do now.
So we had 35,000 budgeted a year ago,
Yeah.
and we weren't able to get
use-
it, but I got it moved into the current budget, which ends June 30.
So let's,
So if we are planning something bigger, better, matching grant applications, then I would ask Mr. Szymanski to help and Aaron to help explain to the council what your plan is, because that,
I think go ahead and plan it without expecting a grant. I think to let this go, we let the 30,000 from Morton's go, let's not let the 35 from the city go. I think move forward at this point.
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
You know, and I think the people want something. I think it's time to give them something. So,
well, and I think that the items that, quite frankly, the items that you guys have laid out, you look at the size of this park. So let's just say that we did everything that was on that list. That all could fit
Yes, it
right
could.
here.
Yes, it could. And
Right.
The rest of the
That's it.
park.
We could put some trees in, we could have I mean, and I haven't worked on a site plan, but you could have that conforming play structure and swing set. You could have the canopy with picnic area around that. We could put trees sprinkled around that. We could work on upgrading the basketball court, but that takes up 10-20% of that whole space that's there.
So you would read.
So if there's other uses, if there's a remote car park or dog park or
Yes.
yes, fields. I mean, I think there's still plenty of space. Just my 2 cents.
What would it cost for a new basketball court?
My guess would be if you save the swing set, we could probably pour the concrete. It's about $4,000 for the swing set. It would be about $4,000 for the concrete.
Well, that would be a good,
Would it remain in the same area, or are you still looking at to reconfigure the area there with the park in one? I like that idea because you should
Once
have
we-
passive and active.
Yeah, once we kind of dial in on the items, then I can work on a little site plan, and I can bring it back to you and say, this is kind of how I vision it laying out. I'd have to go look at that. It's been a couple years since I looked at the current court and the concrete.
And what about a maker grant? Their
That's-
deadline is October, right?
Well, the Minger has 2 cycles a year, so certainly that can, and we've had some conversations, I think Bill emailed Liz on some of those, but we've been talking to Laura Heinzelman. The city can apply for a grant each cycle, and we're hoping that we get the North River Walk grant from the DNR, and then our intention is to apply for a big match from them. But we could add something in there. I think it would be tough to get anything submitted this cycle.
Now, the game time that we're working with, they have, let me just see, he's been texting. They have a grant thing, and it's, he was pretty open on that I think we might be able to get a grant from them, and it's like October 17th. So I think it's right within this time cycle, and it's on the reduced play equipment. So
Okay.
I think he's willing to work on that. So Game Time Sinclair.
Yeah, that's who they represent, is Game Time.
So maybe we could do something with that. I think get the feedback, maybe, do you think we could do something with the equipment? If it's $4,000 for the concrete, I think we could still do something else too. What does everybody else?
Would you move it at that point if you poured a new
What do you
pad?
think, Aaron?
I think we would expand it rather than,
Where it
I
is?
know it needs
Yeah.
swing sets, I get that. What if we did, instead of the double, slide, one slide, so we're using the other slide? Would that be cheaper?
it's cheaper, but it's not like, you don't cut it in half. I think it's like $1,500 or something. I'd have to look it up.
And these are standalone play structures, am I correct on that? They're not connected in any way?
They're not connected to each other.
Correct, okay.
Jeff, are there drop zones included with those estimates for all the new equipment?
Yeah, so the slide structure is 9,100. The swing set was 36. The border to put around them to contain the fall protection is 2,700. And then the EWF, engineered wood fiber, that is made for playgrounds is $6,000.
It's expensive, yeah.
And you have to have that, hey? Wow.
Well, in order to be compliant, you do. We obviously have sand below a lot of our stuff that doesn't, so the way that, because I've asked this of Sinclair in the past, and Lighthouse Park has donated wood chips from PCA. So I said, well, if I could get free stuff locally, why do I have to buy your chewed up engineered stuff? And it's the height of the equipment, so it's how far can you fall? And then that determines how thick the material needs to be, and then how much cushion it gives you. So if you use the engineered wood fiber and you're on a swing, I mean, we used to swing as high as we could and jump, that helps protect that fall. You could put the PCA chips underneath it, but then your protection's not as great. You could fill them with sand and your protection's very little. And like what's out there today in grass, there's no protection.
Well, you don't have to replace that stuff like you do with wood chips, right?
We just add to it
Yeah,
as it breaks
right.
down.
Yeah.
And then once in a, then, I don't know what the
Doesn't last
interval is,
forever.
but then you have to remove it all and, because it just makes mulch underneath it. Or, compost, actually, sorry.
One thing though that I have noticed at the new rocket park, it's really hot there. So we want to be, I mean, a lot of the parents complain a lot. I know there's trash structure over the picnic area, the play area itself is really hot. So I think we need to be mindful of like maybe tree placement or, or like get another shade structure, but just keep that in mind. I know it's warm over there, right? You got anything?
So as far as trees, I don't remember what I put for tree cost. I put $400 in because I think, like right now, I think I have, from our tree planting program that we've just completed, there was some left over. Actually, this happened. One neighbor ordered trees and the other neighbor ordered trees and they didn't realize they wanted the trees in the same spot.
Oh,
So instead of 4 trees, we got 2 extra. I mean, those type of things. So usually, the tree commission did a really good job of advertising it this year. So we had, I think, 50 trees we planted. In the past, I was hard pressed to get 15 to 20. So I always added a few trees into the bid package, knowing I was going to find a place in a park to put them just to keep the cost of the program lower. So the cost of those trees, I can just roll in with other stuff and it wouldn't have to come out of the council allocation.
Well, let's take the 2 trees for sure.
And they can be added. Well, and that's why I was kind of hoping we would
Thank
kind of
you.
wrap this up so I could come up with a site plan
Okay.
and get those planted without going, oh my God, that's right where the slide was going to go. That was foolish.
Can I ask one more question? Is there individual park master plans in place?
No.
Okay. Is there a
There's
citywide or
There's
just a county?
well, technically there is, and it's part of the countywide park master plan. So
Okay,
that was reviewed by the Parks Commission and updated. And actually, the email that the city manager got from the foundation executive director said they look at that Parks master plan to make sure what we're asking to get funded is in there
Yes.
and in line with what the community desires are. And if it's not in line, then we need to explain why it's a new urgent project.
Say, Jeff, if we ended up putting in a new basketball pad, would we been looking at more new poles and backboards and hoops and that's, is all that going to be a part of that too, if that's the way we
It would have to be.
Can't read.
Right now, I think they're metal backboards and chain.
Chain link, yeah.
Yeah, the chains have worked.
Chain nuts.
The chains are
Yeah,
sturdy
those
down
are
there.
sturdy.
Those are-
They are a community's, but they're a public works best friend. They are a basketball player's worst enemy.
Okay.
But that isn't in the estimate right now.
None of that was on your original list, so. And then I just wanted to respond to Aaron's question. That's really small, what does that say? An 8-foot slide is,
9,100? Yeah, the 8-foot is 9,100.
so the slide that we have up there is a 7-foot, the double slide is a 7-foot. The double slide is 9,100. If you went to an 8-foot single slide, same price.
Yeah, same price.
And if you dropped it to a 6-footer, it's 74 and change.
Doesn't make sense to change it then.
Jeff, can I ask, do you have anything as far as equipment for toddlers? Because what I saw in the description seemed to be more for 10 and up.
Yeah, there's,
I think baby swings up there on the.
what's that? The only thing that would be included, I mean, the slides are 7-foot slides, so small children could use them. And then I did ask, or the commission requested one toddler swing in the swing set. I mean, we're not stretching the playability here. It's a slide and it's a swing. But there was that included.
Down the road, there should be something. There were babies in that neighborhood.
When we had the Morton money and the goal of the commission was to take that 30,000 and do crowdfunding at the time, to do a crowdfunding exercise and double that money. And then there was gonna be, because play structures are age ranged, so you have 4 to 7 and 7 to 12 kind of thing. And so the intent was to do 2 play structures that had slides and stuff all in them, but for the 2 different age groups.
We tried doing that in the past, where we have, just like stations for the ages, but it ended up being too many ideas, too much involved. We had to kind of limit it to one area of like even a specialized park for like having exercise. This one would be like a dog run for the older kids. It got to be too much, and then nothing was happening.
So what if we were to do everything on this list minus
Does that say
the 2 play structures
81,000?
Yes.
to start the park?
On
Does that
Jeff's
say-
list on the right-hand side, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, no, everything on,
On
yeah,
the left, okay.
minus the play structures.
Can you turn on the document?
We would build the park.
So here,
Screen.
Did they think we had
Oh, I see.
done?
Can you zoom in?
Refurbish
Not
what
on
we
my
have,
fat head, please.
and then add.
There we go.
Finger
Okay.
grip.
Oh,
Have a community fundraiser, and then just start adding to the park.
So when you talk about play structures, just to give you, I mean, I literally just popped a page open, so there's nothing specific about this. But this little structure that's got like a, looks like a rock climbing wall, a squiggly slide, kind of a normal slide, and then some play stuff. That's listed at $31,000. This whole fun-looking thing, where you can build in the different age ranges on the same structure, and you can kind of customize all the different little components on that. That's $81,000. I mean, the prices are just, they just blow my
That's
mind.
not including the drop zone you need.
True.
Or there's-
Oh, right,
or the
exactly.
setup Probably, there's
True.
a construction
Or
fee
the
too.
construction either, yeah.
Yeah,
The construction's not that bad. I mean, I've built a few of them. I volunteer to do it and then have done it with the city. I believe in the community build, and if you get a dozen people of any ability, it goes pretty easy, and it's fun. But if we wanted to get into really serving the different age groups of the kids, then we need a much bigger investment.
well, I think we just have to kind of decide that this is phase 1 and accept that we want to make some improvements, we want to start going. We want, yeah, I think, get something there, and I think we
yeah,
can,
I'd like that.
very small, we got picnic tables and trees, and the picnic tables, if we got good ones from the city, you'd mentioned that. Then we just have to decide, we want the basketball court and use our existing structures, but the basketball court, you're saying then we need new poles and everything, we couldn't just lay new
Well,
cement?
I'll take a look at it
Yeah.
and get some ideas on that.
Because those basketball courts, wherever they are, whether it's First Street, whether it's Duffy, wherever the basketball courts are, I always see someone bouncing a ball. That, I think, is a kid draw, to have a good basketball.
Well, I was at the construction project around the corner, and I went past the park when I was on my way here. That's where I saw Bob. But there were 2 14-year-olds playing, 15-year-olds.
Love to hear a kid bouncing a ball.
Yeah.
In trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
yeah.
And fields. And it wouldn't cost us anything very much to line the fields. I mean, it would be time. We could line the fields, you could restore the existing equipment, we could put the basketball things in, and then the canopy, the trees, picnic tables.
Yeah,
I think start this fall.
Yeah, and then, yeah, just use phase one, and then if we get more money, that's great, but I think we just start with, really bad, we lost 35.
Yeah, we can't lose the 35.
And I don't know how long, Peggy and I can hold up city council and not use that money.
Nope, we gotta use it and we gotta move forward, so definitely wanna do that. So, and I think we want to do it, you know, we went door to door, we talked to the people, made some promises. And they're good people. I don't wanna not do what we said. That we didn't promise them what we do, we just said we don't have a lot of money, but we wanna see some improvement.
Improvement.
Would the porta potty be, would you be able to work that into it? The porta
Yeah.
potty? How about the drinking fountain?
Yes.
Those are, that would be a huge improvement. Just the putting a playable basketball court, a drinking fountain, and a porta potty, now you've doubled the ability to use.
And then two
And the
nice
porta-
picnic
the-
tables, you were using the picnic table today and we
Yes.
sat down with you and they were wobbly.
Yes.
And I thought, nope, we've gotta get two better picnic tables and we'll plant 2 trees and a bench would be down there, nice by the basketball court.
The,
We had 6 here, but we only own 2 now, but we can't get any more this year. You
What-
said you'd donate 2 trees.
well, I think I have 2, but we can add more
This
each
fall
year.
even? Okay, not yet this year,
Probably not.
but we could put the 2 in this fall.
Yeah.
Could we get started on a lot of this fall?
As soon as I feel, as soon as you give me a recommendation to go forward, then I will request a final quote from Sinclair. When I receive that final quote, I probably have to adjust. There's a weird little item in here that I don't know how exactly to explain. The prices that are shown on the equipment are the list catalog prices.
If we're not gonna get equipment,
So Sinclair also has a markup on that. But they also have a My Deal contract with the state of Michigan. So the My Deal should get us close, if not lower, than those listed prices. But I don't know what that is, so I'm using the numbers that I have. Once I request that final quote and we're in that budgeted range, then I go to city council and request permission for the purchase, because it's gonna be over 25,000. And then, once they give that approval, then we order it from Game Time. When it comes, I think it'll be a spring install on the equipment. But, we might be able to get the water service in this year, and then just whenever we can get the materials. Some stuff's coming okay, most things are coming slow.
but if we're going to refurbish what we have, we won't need a quote.
If you're gonna refurbish the swing set, then that could, I'm not sure, I can't commit to my guys doing that, but it could be done. My list for this fall.
Would you allow us to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
Yeah, we've done
try
that
it. And
before.
if it doesn't work and we say, ugh, then we go to the plan B.
It
And
may-
let's tomorrow, I would come over if you don't mind, and let's call this Sinclair, because I just found it. It says, good morning, Game Time Sinclair has 100% equipment grant funds available. He just sent me this. You could apply. And it was a simple app, just seeing, it's probably not great, but it was, see what we could get. Then we could buy something too.
And quite frankly, it'd be nice to work on the swing sets this fall. And if we find something that this is not gonna work for some reason, then we still have time.
And we still have
To
to order the
replace it.
swings and,
Yeah.
and a decent toddler swing and 3 nice swings. And, there's gonna be money. The money will go fast.
So if the grills are provided by DPW, is that something that could be put in?
Yeah,
Okay, so that would be an
yeah,
improvement that could be.
I've got a pallet of those stocked already.
Okay,
2 grills, 2.
I'm just trying to look at things that, that you could actually move forward with, and so that the neighborhood understands that we're committed to this and moving forward.
What's that?
You have a bike rack on here too, and that's kids like that.
Bike rack, yeah.
So, some decision points that I also need your help with, and I spoke with Kelly about one of these, is the picnic table, the bench, the trash can surrounds. I mean, I like them to, I like them. I think they all flow together very well. I think they would look great in the community. I'm personally excited about adding color to the parks but does anybody have any objections to those? Because we have money budgeted in the refuse fund, and I think it's 30 grand to begin replacing the trash receptacles. So when I order those, I want to order those, but I want to order Morton Parks, and I want to order the disc golf course, and then we can, because the more project-specific stuff that we purchase, then the more we can get those out at the other parks. So that's one thing, and then the next thing would be, before we actually place the order on this stuff, is there any color choices or?
I heard back from everyone, but
Okay.
Liz did have a good question about the receptacles that we have now. Can we continue to buy those?
That black one with the open hole that had the slats going down the
They're
side.
downtown.
Those are downtown.
Yeah,
Those were custom made for downtown.
oh. Then we won't do those. Yeah, these
So
are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And that's why I didn't get back with you.
I thought I've some, don't some other towns have those? I thought I've seen those elsewhere.
they're probably very similar.
Okay. Okay, that was my only question. The other question I asked Katie today too. I've never sat in one of those that the slats, the ones we all have now, the slats are horizontal and these are more vertical. Are they just as comfortable has anybody sat on one of these benches?
Yeah, I have. Mhm.
Okay.
And Katie did say that the same bench is in Scottville, right? If you want to go take a look.
Yeah, and just, I mean, as another example, when we get some consensus on this, I'm not such a great color and aesthetic person, so I appreciate your help on this. But once we make that decision, as an example, I have 6 bench pads that we built into the Riverwalk on the west end, that new concrete section there. So I want to put powder-coated metal benches that'll stand up to the waves and the ice action in the wintertime. And we've already got people that have pledged memorials for those. But I want to make sure that they fit in. I don't want to just hodgepodge stuff all over the place. I think that ends up looking sloppy and not very well thought out. So as we start doing these projects and we buy consistent stuff, I think it's going to really improve the aesthetics.
I think the black was good for the benches, do you?
Well, for the Morton Park, I think I'd do a color for kids.
Does Morton's have a color scheme? Like I think
Blue and yellow.
Yellow.
things are
Yeah,
blue
that
and
would be
yellow.
it.
Yeah, their logos are blue and yellow.
Not green and white?
No.
Didn't say Mays.
There might be a green and white park somewhere before I retire, though.
The other side of town, maybe.
Can you order those benches in other colors? Do they come?
Yeah.
Do you want to order like Morton Park's different than the rest of the cities?
I think for Morton Park, just my take, since we're not doing a whole lot of stuff, I think you can mix the colors up a little bit. I mean, you could do a yellow bench and a red bench, and then the playground or the swing will be one color. And
I do too.
I mean, that's what I thought I heard somebody say,
I
that the
said
children
the
wanted.
Girls told us that.
Yeah, that they wanted the colors, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's always appealing.
And the whiter the color, the less heat they'll attract.
Exactly.
That's true too.
Yeah, because the black sometimes
The
absorbs
darker
the heat.
colors absorb the heat.
Yes, they do. Yes, you're right. Okay.
And the trash receptacles come in different colors as well.
Yeah.
And that might be nice down there, because the one complaint that we got from everybody is that the people who take their dogs there, even though there's a very nice mutt mitt container that had plenty of bags in it, yeah, Aaron, you bought that one.
Aaron got a grant.
You got the mutt mitt container, but they're saying people aren't using those enough. That was one complaint, that the people are not picking up after their dogs, right, Karen?
Yes.
So we gotta get, and there's plenty of signage, there's a nice mutt mitt, I mean, it can't be any more a parent, but maybe a nice trash can would attract him to throw it out.
And I think that when we order this first round of trash receptacles, I think it'll probably, for the majority, take care of the beaches. I don't remember what, I think I told you a number, I don't remember what it was. We've got it over, I think we need 130 total. And they're, what, $800 a piece? $1,000 a piece?
Yeah. So what you need right now from us is bottom line list of what we're going with, am I correct?
So, you make sure you've summarized this for me?
Yes.
So what I think I've heard, based on community input, was make an attempt to revitalize the current swing set, proceed with the slide structure and surround it all with the protective material, and look to add some improvement to the basketball court.
Oh, the old slide, not
The
the
old
new
slide or the new slide?
Refurbish the
What did
slide
you want
that's
with the
already
slide?
You wanted to so you wanted to keep all the equipment that's there.
What do you think?
there. Well, that's,
Try to
that's
refurbish?
$10,000.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think if we can reuse the stuff we have, let's do it.
Okay. Revitalize the slide too.
How can that be revitalized? It's
Well,
It's
paint,
metal.
we could paint the metal outside. Right, or not?
So we can add to it, or
some kind of a plastic.
And can't we paint the plastic?
There are plastic spray paints.
Yes, there are.
We could try it, or if it doesn't work and it looks, what do you think? I think we could try it. I would always say let's, and we can try it, we can do it and see if it works. And it does need, the one thing, maybe what is the term for it? Not the wood chips at the base. There's that area at the base of the slide that has nothing in it but weeds right now. So we have to put something there. And should we buy the good wood chips? Because even if we got a different play structure, we'd still use them, and they're not called wood chips, but.
So those two existing structures, this is the swing, this is the slide, they're not close enough together to put under one surround. So the swing set, we can lay out, we can put a surround there with the chips. The slide typically has it all the way around. Would we want to just do two separate areas of that?
Yeah, for now. And do we have to do it all the way around? Because that kind of has a little safety thing at the top. You'd have to work hard. Maybe not. I mean, you probably not.
Think like a kid.
Say never, but
Think like a child.
yeah, that could happen. Put it all the way around. Is that what you're thinking, Jeff?
Well, I'm just asking for input, because I'm trying to get us to a summary conclusion here.
I don't see any reason to put it all the way around if we can do it adequately the way it is now.
Just at
Why
the bottom.
spend the money?
Yeah.
Let's spend the money on what we really want
Yeah,
to
save
fix.
it for later, and if it doesn't work, then if we put in a new piece of equipment, do a new surround that fits that new equipment.
Okay.
Slide partial surround.
Slide, improve the base, just
Existing.
improve the, yeah, the.
Existing.
I don't know what you call that.
Base
The
only.
discharge of the slide.
And discharge is good.
Oh, they were gonna use the stuff, right? With that.
Okay.
So yeah, right, will you be using the wood chips or the EWF?
The really good stuff.
I would use the EWF.
Okay.
But not $6,000 worth.
We'd have to see, when you put this equipment together, then it's pretty much the same area, but you have a little bit of overlap, so you save a little bit of material, but you also save on the border. If you're surrounding each piece of equipment with its own border, you use more border. So it's a little bit less efficient, but
Well, this should be pretty small. We just do the base of the slide for now.
yeah, so I'm gonna work on updating that. And then, so you have freed up 14 grand.
Yes.
So,
Would we then like to look at a different play structure to add there?
basketball.
or put it in the
We
basketball?
want to put it into the,
Yeah, in the basketball.
The basketball?
yeah, for sure, basketball.
Yeah, the basketball court would be nice to get the basketball court.
And there's no cost to the there's no cost out of this budget for the porta potty. It's something I request, and we pay $100 a month for it
Okay.
out of our operating budget.
So essentially, we want to make it look like a park, and then we'll continue to add play structures.
And we'll plant the trees yet this fall. That'll-
2 trees.
If I could, if I could see the screen on that laptop, I could update that spreadsheet and see where we're at, but I could update it and send it to you.
Okay.
And again, I like sharing information. We just can't dialogue back and forth. It needs to be in a open meeting. You can have individual conversations, but, just don't reply all. But my guess is we'll have money left. If we're trimming 14 out, and maybe we got to add another $2,000 for the fall protection, so we're gonna,
But the court's going to cost $4,000.
plus the court, yeah.
Back.
I still think I guess we were over a little bit, so we should
You
be,
do those prison grade backboards and get it over with, that's more.
4,000.
well,
Wasn't that 4,000?
Yeah,
that, again, basketball players,
yeah, they're permanent, just because no one's vandalized them yet.
and basketball players
Yeah.
hate the double rims, hate.
So
But-
half court, did you say a half court pad?
I'll figure that
okay.
out, but just basketball court improvements.
We should touch base with Sean. He
Well, the
came.
double rims, from a standpoint, from a city standpoint, totally agree.
Right.
You are totally right. I mean, they're a little harder to hit,
Durable,
but
yes.
I prefer something durable, because, down at First Street, we were playing down there for a while, and then we moved to Duffy because the rims were falling off.
Right.
And we,
Duffy, and they're double rims, so it's a little harder to hit, but, man, they're not going anywhere. A lot more stable.
yeah.
And can the goal?
And that's the trade-off. If we put out nice stuff, it doesn't last.
Right.
I mean, the ones at Fifth Avenue, we've repaired those 3 times in the past 5 years, and it's gone right now. First Street, we can't keep up with it. So, but
The prison ones do last, other towns.
yes,
Yeah, they last.
Do you know what we're speaking to when we say the prison ones? We're looking at
they're
glass
essential.
breakaway.
They're real thick acrylic boards
Glass
with double
breakaways.
rims.
Last, they are the ones. Lebanon has them, Frankfurt has them, many of the surrounding towns are currently using them.
Oaks Correctional Facility, yeah.
And then, so you provide us with a new listing once you get all the numbers, and then if there's anything left,
We can spend it. If there's anything left, we will find, Aaron, we might get back with you even.
Because we were
And I-
always disappointed we didn't get the dog.
Yeah, that's on the list.
Yeah,
Oh, well, yeah.
but, and we want the gates too, don't we want,
What gate?
the gates like, there's some openings, like right by that
Yeah,
railroad
that's in
track.
there.
That's in there. You got the gates in here, I thought.
I didn't have them in there.
Fencing?
Fence
He had
repair.
I had fence
Fence
upgrades.
Yes,
Is that what you're looking at?
I didn't have anything specific.
or fence.
And I can't get a fencing contractor to save my life.
Will you quote full court though? Not, can we?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that sound like positive to everybody?
Yeah. I would only have one other question. It might have to do with parking. Trying to picture it in my head because everything's always parallel parked. So if some of those trees that are there, if those are removed, would they really just pull straight in?
It's a great
Is
idea.
that something that would be
Do the angle
in
parking.
lieu of a whole new parking lot or something? And the thought of being able to have several cars there, parallel parking is not really optimal, especially up there because there's so many houses and there's not a lot of parking.
Good idea.
I mean, a lot of people are probably gonna walk if they live in the community right there.
Absolutely, yes.
If they did end up having a soccer practice or something like that there.
There would be
well, now you have
available.
12 cars that need to be there at a minimum.
Maybe we have trees on the inside of the park
Yeah.
to make up for the ones on the, yeah.
Yeah. think that's a great idea.
Just a thought.
Well, it's more extensive than that.
I think there's curbing.
I think the grade would be a little tricky.
That's what I was wondering.
I think with the established fence, if the fence was moved more to the north and we had more room, because essentially what you're describing is what is at Mac Park right now. It's just parallel park or perpendicular parking right off of Greenwich. And that works okay, but they weren't confined to the right of way where the fence is currently on the right of way. And there is a slight rise and it's curb and guttered right now. So I think that would be, it's possible. It would be an undertaking though.
Okay. I got short notice on this, so I didn't go run by the park ahead of time.
Yeah.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Okay, why, Jeff, if you don't mind, updating the cost list, and we can share it with Mickey, Sean, Aaron, we have yours, we can share it with everybody who's here, and so you just can see what we're hoping to accomplish. And I think it can happen, it will happen, it has to happen.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you. Okay, anything?
And I'll reach out to Richard Sinclair and ask a little bit about that grant as well.
Yeah, okay, I'll forward that to you, so.
And you don't mind if we go to Martin?
I went to the plant manager, so
I would want to go to, I know I was part of the first one. There's been, what, 3 plant managers?
yes.
Yes,
You want to go too, is that what you said?
okay.
Is there somebody higher that we need to speak with?
He was not willing to do it himself, so I wasn't going to ask.
Okay.
But from my understanding, that plant's been sold many, many times. And Detroit Salt bought it
Yeah, I know Detroit.
to be able to use, because they don't have any, for lack of a better term, great marketing, like the when it rains it pours.
Absolutely.
So the name has a lot of marketing value, and they acquired that plant based on that. So it's different owners, a different corporate structure. When I talked to Jeremy Logan, he said, not quite the environment right now. We're not doing great financially, and we're in union negotiations, and I've got to wait till all this dust settles to be able to understand how our new parent company relates to the community. I mean, because Morton has supported a lot of public parks and causes and stuff for many years. So, yeah. And I mean, we communicate fairly regularly now, so, but I don't mind if you
Can't hurt.
The-
If you ask,
The contract's
yeah.
probably over, that's usually in the summer, so maybe the dust did some, who knows?
I really don't know.
Yeah, we won't badger them,
We'll call you.
we'll just try, we'll just.
Well, and you can always.
Right now,
parent
Warren's
company.
probably not the best guy in the community.
What's that?
Probably not the best right now with the community with negotiations with contracts or signs of the river. So it might help them if you do care about our community. Yeah,
Let's give back, yeah. Or,
Let's get back in this, and every employee sees that park when they go to work, so,
use that to our advantage.
yep,
We have
Okay.
a weekday in mind as to when we're gonna go over there and start painting the equipment.
well, let's get that.
That could be done
Thank you, Jeff.
anytime.
Could be done anytime, okay.
I'm in Montana for the next 10 days. After that, I'm
The
free.
weather should be.
So
good.
today is the 8th, so we're gonna do it on the 20th, the day you get back.
we're waiting for you.
I can't be the
That's Sunday, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Fine, that's
Just
great.
didn't want you to be left out.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll do it sooner than later, and we'll set everybody know, and we.
All right.
And the paint is provided?
Yeah, we'll provide the materials.
Okay.
And then we'll order the swings and everything, we'll get with you, we'll just order
I'll
the
get a color
swings,
from the
toddler.
I'm not gonna order anything until we have the full program set.
Okay,
But I think if you're gonna refurbish, there's no harm in refurbishing what's there.
Right.
That can be done
not
now.
out a thing, you're out
Point.
painting a little free labor.
Yeah.
You don't have any spare swings laying around? No.
Do you guys have any of the wooden swings, or are they all sling swings?
I think when we purchase the sling swings.
Is that for safety reasons, or?
I don't know the answer to that.
'Cause they do make plastic Like the old wooden swings, they make plastic ones now, I don't know. Little-
I think that's what the toddler swings are, and those are specific.
Okay, that's excellent to know, yeah. Good.
And then we could get the 2 picnic tables sooner over there too. And we could paint them if they need them painted, we can paint it to match the colors. But 2 sturdy picnic tables, and the one that's over there might be past its prime.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that. So,
Bad shape.
It's in really bad shape.
Yeah, we sat on it.
Yeah,
so
bad over there.
that's, I want to hold that for a future conversation, but the picnic tables today, they rotate, they move around. If there's somebody that says, hey, we're having a neighborhood party at Morton Park, we're happy to move some tables in for that event. And then they may get moved to the next thing, and then they get moved to Labor Fest, and then they get moved for the 4th of July. And so the tables are shifting around not as much as they used to. But that's why when we're restaining them, that I would like to keep consistent colors because they do move. If we're gonna buy, as an example, I think like at the First Street Beach Pavilion, those have all our old wooden ones in there, and it's such a nice facility. I think those the metal ones would be nice with the colors in. Maybe not, because people do need to move them around. But then when you buy the new ones that are gonna be in a dedicated place, like if the budget allows and we can put 2 of those metal tables at Morton Park, then they stay, and then you can do whatever color you want.
Maybe that's what we.
Green and white.
Well, they're
Maybe.
in the budget,
Yeah,
2 picnic tables.
so keep those in. Yeah, there were 2 in there. Maybe buy the 2 picnic tables for Morton's.
One of the emails going back and forth talked about why we have poles going up on the disc golf course. Was that question ever answered?
I can answer it.
They're
Was answered?
obstacles, they're man-made obstacles, like trees.
Right, exactly right, right, okay.
So that was, yeah.
So, that's why they're going up.
And Tom's got them designed to a specific height. We just took the pilings we had, plunked them in, and then we're gonna trim them to Tom's height. But I think they're kind of intriguing.
They are kind of
all
cool
kind of
looking,
crazy and
yeah.
pointing up like that.
Right.
Looks like Stonehenge.
We'll just add some vertical to that flat space in there,
I like
Do you,
it.
do you think you'll have those new numbers for our next meeting?
When is your next meeting?
Thursday, next Thursday?
Yeah,
Come on, Jeff.
because then
Yeah, you
you can get the
Yeah, then we can
final.
pa-
Yeah,
Thanks.
we'll be able to give it all to you then.
I'll do my best.
Okay, thank you.
We'll bring you lunch.
Good, I haven't had lunch this week. As long as you get me home before it's dark. I haven't been home before dark this week.
I think it sounds pretty good. We'll keep everybody informed.
Be here.
Pardon me, you won't be here this week?
I'll be in Montana.
He's in Montana, yeah.
Okay, we'll have quorum.
Okay, but I'm sure you have a very great meeting.
Okay. And a motion to adjourn?
What's that?
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your input.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Thank
Yeah.
Second, okay.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
I don't know if Katie got that.
Sean, I'll see you in a minute.
They're making
Take care.
motions.
Thank
Made
you
a
very
motion
much
to
for
adjourn.
coming, gentlemen.
Carrie,
Thank you. Yes.
second.
Second.
Is this a
Yes.
formal meeting?
No, it's just.
Thank you.
I said let's adjourn.
Adjourn.
Yeah. Karen Peltola, second.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
All in favor, aye. Yes.
No, I have to know.
She said, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, it was,
Did you stop this?
no.
Take a try.
Doesn't matter.
We should get going. So I'm gonna wear.